Hi guys, this is Id3ntyD from FieldWithSkill.com. Today's episode is about Heroes of Camelot, the basics and basically an introduction to the game and of course my opinion about it. A little bit maybe from the game development aspect of the game and what people were the designer actually trying to do and what the game is basically about and how it's played. But I think it's enough for this foreplay blah blah. Let's just jump into it, get wet and dirty and see what comes out of it. The game itself is a card collecting game. It's not a card trading game because there's basically no option for trading any cards. It tries to give you all the impression of a multiplayer game, but basically it's a single player game with two multiplayer aspects, which is on the one hand the chat and on the other hand the arena function, where you can basically fight against the armies of another player, which is not really multiplayer because, well, the experience fighting real against other players is quite limited. The game itself looks really good. It is quite fun to play, so all the negativity which I'm saying, all the negative aspects, you always have to consider that actually I am playing it now for like approximately 2 weeks, and I guess I will play it still in the near future. Especially this game is developed for like a little game between things which you're doing. You're stopping with your car, you're staying in traffic jam, you're bored at school, you're staying in a queue in your supermarket. It's perfectly fine for that. The downside, of course, is that it is quite grind lusty. You have to do a lot of repeatedly questions, tasks in order to advance in the game itself. Currently, the graphics are a little bit changed. There's this Halloween special going on, therefore don't mind the graphics too much. They will be changed after the event is over, return to their basic style. As I mentioned, the cards and the graphic itself are quite cute. I will show you some cards. It's not really important how they look like, but as you can see, or maybe not see because the quality maybe isn't the best, the artwork is really nice and invites you to kind of, it creates a kind of feeling, wow, let's hunt for those cards and develop them further because I specifically like those cards. It's quite okay from this aspect. I think the aim of this game itself is not a long-term focus, besides maybe a little aspect of core gamings. Of course, it's more one of the games which try to hook you up relatively early and then make you use one of the special offers which you can get in the shop. The shop itself, it does give a big advantage to paying users. There is no question about that. The strongest cards you can only get by but hard currency transaction in the store. With other words, you're paying for some games. You can then try to get good cards. The cards which you can buy in the store have a rarity of 3 stars to 5 stars, while as a free player you can have only 1 star to 3 star card decks by random choosing. Therefore, you can already see that there is quite a big difference. They're trying to compensate this by the fact that you have the possibility of enhancing your current cards, which you have by level and by evolution tier, which means that, for example, a card like the Battle Mage, you can see it here. It can have several different evolution steps, which is in this case for rare card are 4 steps which you can do. You're achieving this by collecting the same card and fusing them into a more evolved card of this type. And of course you can level those cards up by sacrificing other cards which you don't need anymore in order to make them stronger. So therefore a progress through the game, as far as I am right now, is quite possible. Like I said, you need to grind a little bit, but it's completely okay to do so and to advance in the game itself. However, how the long-term game and the end game will be played out, this is something which I'm not sure about yet, and I'm not sure if my motivation will hold on long enough in order to reach this goal specifically, because you need a lot of cards in order to level your cards up and to evolve them. You get, through specific quests, you get the possibility of getting stronger cards for your deck, so you basically can do something with it. But like I said, it's quite a really downside that you can't neither trade those cards nor really get better cards for free. That kind of really sucks. However, the grind process looks basically like this, that you're going into your quest, you're choosing one of these towns which has certain stages. Let's just take this one. You're going into one area, one stage. You basically tap on exploring. Your character moves through the landscape and potentially can find things. What I like about the system, how they developed it, that it's not like okay, I'm exploring and I found nothing. So every time you do this, you get something out of it, you know, and this is quite nice actually, because sometimes you get just experience and gold, which is basically the least thing which you can harvest by it. Other times you're getting one of those low tier cards which you can use for enhancement or for sacrificing to raise the XP of another card. Sometimes you get actually your mana is raised by little flasks, bottles of mana, and sometimes you can find the same thing, bottles for energy. The thing is, of course, there are limitations how much you can play the game in order to make a restriction how fast the player can possibly progress without paying, because if you want to pay, well, you basically can play the game all day long and advance far further. But of course there are those restrictions. I think it's not a new thing which Kabam did there. It's in most of card games and actually free-to-play games, which are currently for the Android phones are out. You have similar system of energy, of mana. In this case, energy is used for progressing through the stages of the game, to quest, like to explore certain areas in order to get gold, get experience, get low cards, and of course to reach the boss areas where you can hope for a better card drop, which happens quite rarely. Or you can get this mana flask, which allow you actually to fight boss mobs, and as I mentioned right now before, specifically boss mobs have a chance to drop themselves as a card, which have a higher rarity. But as I said, it's not something you can count on. Happens quite rarely. The thing is that, of course, that in the beginning when you encounter the first boss, it's like a peanut. You're just looking angry at him and he's already vanishing, running away, screaming, wetting his pants. And from every time you actually encounter this boss by random in a specific stage, he's getting stronger. Therefore, it is a pain in the ass to kill him. Good thing is that he doesn't reset his HP, therefore you can always come back to this boss mob to kill him. Sooner or later you're gonna make it, even if you need like 5 attempts. And after a certain period of time, I think it's 2 weeks, those boss encounters are resetted to level 1 again, so it's easier to farm them. However, you can see there is a lot of grinding involved, a lot of what you need to do is the same procedure over and over again to make your deck stronger and stronger in order to advance through the quest line and of course being successful in the arena fights. Yeah, that's so far so good. There are, as I mentioned already, there are those little quests which help you actually get a little bit stronger cards, which help you advance, they will give you a flash. So basically you can play the game quite some time. Still the focus is definitely there, that they want you to, hey, come on, make it a little bit easier for you, you know, it's the game getting more and more difficult, more and more annoying to progress. So hey, how about investing a little bit of money to get a super power card by random, of course, to be a little bit more easy. Therefore, I think this game is still fun to play. I think you could have done more out of this game. It's very repetitive. As I said, it is fun, and I'm playing it. So this is I think this speaks for the development of the game. But general stages are, well, as a player, there's not much to take out of it. There is no real end game. The strategy behind in this game is Well, I don't think it's so deep. You can level up your cards. You put your cards into your specific teams, and you have like, of course, some cards have special combinations, combos with other cards, with unlocking several abilities, better abilities. But it looks very straightforward to me so far. I didn't discover a real depth in this whole game. So, well, I think this game can be definitely called casual game. And yeah, let's see what the developers are having in plans for it. So far, it is fun to play, but it's definitely not a core game which you can with deep tactics, yeah, well, play over and over again and discover different aspects of the game the longer you play. Basically, after a week, you know how the game runs and you know basically what you need to do. You're making your little arrangements, but that's basically it. So this episode is basically, as I said, only an introduction and overview. I will do another episode with the real gameplay itself and explaining how the game itself really works, how you're playing it. And a third episode about tips and tricks to give you a little bit head start as a newcomer and how the game itself is actually played. Thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe if you want to. If you don't. And see you hopefully in one of my next episodes, not games. Yeah. Peace out.